Kids don't forget.
Kids don't forget.
You kids don't forget.
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 DaBriah, what's up? How you feeling today?
I'm feeling good.
We're happy that you're here today.
Thank you.
So did I say your name correctly? We want to hear you say your name. What is the correct pronunciation of your name?
DaBriah.
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 Okay. What was it mispronounced a lot growing up?
Yes. DaBriah, DaBriah. My teacher, Dapachi. I don't.
Dapachi.
That's a whole different thing, but yes, right.
You said DaBrianna?
DaBriah. Oh yeah, DaBrianna. That was one of my favorites. Somebody just gave me a whole new name.
Right.
I'm like, okay.
But say it for us one more time.
DaBriah.
DaBriah. Got it. It's not that hard.
It's not.
What were some of your nicknames growing up?
Day and Stink.
Okay, who called you those?
My dad called me Day because he couldn't pronounce my name.
Really?
For years till I was 10. And Stink was, my grandfather called me Stink. They said I always looked at people like, I stink. And then my mom was saying Saturday. She said, you will also go to the bathroom. Like, she said, so we knew you went to the bathroom, so they used to call me Stink.
Okay. And you said some people call you Bria.
Bria, yes.
Right. Okay. So with that being said, where are you from?
I'm from Camden, New Jersey.
Really? Do you claim any specific neighborhood in Camden?
East Camden.
East Camden.
East
Wow.
Camden.
Do you have a specific block?
Raritan Street.
Okay, Raritan Street. How would you describe growing up on your block in your neighborhood growing up?
Growing up on Raritan Street in the 80s was wicked.
Okay.
I had good times. Of course, I was a kid and I had crazy times, went through a lot, seen a lot.
Any examples? Like, give us an example of something you saw.
I remember I was 8 years old. My little sister, she was probably like 6 months. We were sitting on the step. My mom was in the house cleaning, so, we just sitting on the steps. And my sister was in her car seat, and I remember a guy, it was him and his dad. He was in a wheelchair.
The guy or the dad?
The guy. And no, the dad was walking, but he was in a wheelchair.
Okay.
He was scooting. And he was talking to these other two Hispanic guys. And, I'm sitting on my step, just sitting there, And then they start arguing. The guy just pulled out a gun and just started shooting. Pow, pow. And I'm like, and my mom just like grabbed me and my sister.
The guy in the wheelchair started shooting? Mm-hmm. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Trust me, people see this, they know exactly who I'm talking about. But yes.
Okay. So you experienced stuff like that from early on?
Yes.
And from then it was on in your hood, basically?
It been on. But just, to see you're 8 and, we do start watching certain television shows, but just to see that real life at 8 years old, you're in shock, like, it's like, what the hell,
Okay.
So.
Did that affect you, like, moving forward, or did you just become used to it?
It didn't affect me, but it's like, wow, that's real.
Got it.
I wouldn't want I have an 8-year-old now. I would not want him to see that at all.
Got it. What are some other things? Like, is there anything else? Like, just go in. Describe your neighborhood.
My neighborhood, back in the day, was called RSP. It started off as a nice neighborhood.
Okay.
Then, the crack era, drugs came in and started off as Rancher Street, RSP. And, you start being around people and, you start seeing things. You start seeing caps on the ground. I was telling somebody, I remember I was 12 when my house got raided because they was looking for somebody.
Okay.
And imagine being 12 years old, you wake up as men in your house with guns, like, the hell, I'm a kid, like, What are you doing? And just going over other people's house, you outside playing with your girlfriend and her house get raided.
Wow.
She like, you ain't gonna find nothing there but roaches. And you're like 11 and 12, but this is stuff you seen. When I was 11, my girlfriend, we was all just playing. She gets shot in her back that
What?
night.
You were there?
No, I wasn't there. I was home, but my mom woke me up.
Okay.
the guy that got killed, she needed their mom's number.
Okay.
'Cause me and the brothers, you know, my twin brothers, we was all close.
Okay.
My mom asked for her house number and I called her. And then I remember their mom, you know, coming to my house. It was like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, so.
Oh, wow. Did she survive? She survived that?
The mom, when her son
No,
was killed?
your girlfriend that got shot in the back.
She survived. She's still living. She's been through a lot, but she's still living.
Okay, got it. So you mentioned your twin brothers. I think you mentioned your little sister. So you clearly were not an older child. Were only child? Were you the oldest of the group?
I'm the oldest on my mother's side. I have an older brother on my dad's side.
Okay.
But I lived mostly with my mom, so I was the oldest. Then my twin brothers, my little sister, then my baby brother.
Okay. What's the gap between you, the age difference between you and your baby brother?
10 years.
Okay, so I want you to imagine that you are 15 years old right now. If you're 15, what are the ages of your siblings?
5 and 6.
So you have a 5-year-old little brother,
And a 6-year-old sister.
and then the twins are how old? If you're 15,
They're 14.
Oh, so they're right under you. Okay. So they were kind of like your protectors.
Yeah, a little. I feel like I was mostly the protector.
Oh, you was the bossy one.
Yes, the big sister.
And if you're 15, how old is your older brother?
15, 19.
19. Okay. Got it. So, how would you describe that experience, like being the oldest growing up in your house? What was that like?
Well, being the oldest, I took on a lot of responsibilities as a kid. You know,
Like
my
what?
mom, once my mom and dad separated, my mom started getting high, so it's like me cleaning and cooking, and it's like I think now, like me having kids, and I'm like I couldn't imagine them doing certain things so young.
Okay.
You know, I let them have a childhood where I felt like I had to cook and clean, and you know, you get older. I used to have my little brother and sister all the time. And then it's like once I had ran away when I was 14, I felt like I had a teenage life because I'm with my grandparents.
Okay.
So I'm like, I could finally be free.
Okay. Got it. So, with that being said, you clearly, excuse me, did not grow up with both parents the whole time.
No.
Was
I
there
would go
a-
see my dad on the weekends.
You would go say, okay. Was there any point where you lived with both parents?
Yes, till I was about, I want to say 7 or 8.
Okay. How would you compare the time you lived with both parents to the time that you didn't? And by the way, when you didn't, it was you and your mom.
Yeah.
Okay. How would you compare those two different phases
I
of
remember
life?
a lot of times, like we did stuff as a family, but I also remember my mom and dad arguing and fighting all the time. I wasn't that kid like, oh, I want my parents to be together. No, y'all need to be separated. Like I knew that as a young child. Like
Right.
that's toxic, you know. So
Right. Someone just mentioned that. Like, so in another interview, I asked if she felt that it was better to be if she felt that it's better for a child to be in a 2-parent household or versus a single parent household. And she said that it probably is better if it's not toxic, like you just said,
Yeah.
if your dad isn't disrespecting your mom all the time, or if the relationship is not abusive. She's like, because if it is, that kid in a single parent home, maybe you're having a better childhood than the kid in a double parent home. You agree to that?
yes, yeah, he dad was a whore. I'm gonna be straight up, he was a whore.
Speaking of your dad, like how would you describe your relationship with him? And then after that, how would you describe your relationship with your mom growing up afterwards?
My dad, he cool. I had fallen out with him a couple years ago, but my dad,
But that would have been your adult life.
yeah.
So
But growing up, I called my dad. He would, I would go see him because he lived right around the corner from my grandparents.
Okay, and your grandparents were also in East Camden?
No, I moved downtown. They were downtown.
Okay.
So I would just walk literally right around the corner. It's probably 2 minutes
Okay.
to go see my dad.
Now, for
So,
somebody not watching this video, how far is East Camden from downtown?
East Camden and downtown, I'm gonna say driving is 10 minutes,
Okay.
if that, or 5.
Right, but walking is like what?
Walking is like a half hour,
Okay,
45 minutes.
okay. So back to your dad. Sorry about that. You would
It's
call
okay.
him and he would come and scoop you up or come give you what you
or I
wanted.
just go over there, see him. But when I was younger, me and my dad, he would always take me out for my birthday. Because, my birthday's near Christmas, so it was like, what do you want to get for your birthday or Christmas? I want both. My birthday's the 21st, not the 25th. My dad is very cheap. So
Right. What's your dad's name, by the way?
his name is Chauncey.
Say it again.
Chauncey.
Shout out to Chauncey. Okay, okay.
So on my birthday, like 12, 12, 13, we would go, go to the movies, and I remember us going to go see Home Alone, and, we just go to the movies and go out to eat and stuff and, just hang out. But once I got 13, I didn't want to go with my dad.
But you had a pretty good relationship with him.
Yeah.
Like looking back, how would you describe your relationship with your mother?
My mom is
What's your mom's name?
Bernetta.
Bernetta, would it be? Okay, Bernetta.
It started being like a little strain because I felt like
When?
I was
At what point?
like 8 or 9.
Okay.
She started getting high because it's like I felt like I was doing everything. And when I was younger, when I was 5, I had this idea like, oh, I'm gonna be a lawyer. And my grandfather like, if you want to be a lawyer, you gotta get all A's. So that made me be a little anal with my grades. I would get a test and get an 89, and I'm in the class performing. You would think I failed.
Right.
But I'm like, no, I need like, she like, what's wrong with her? But I was always excel, and it got to a point when I was in like 3rd or 4th, my teacher, she talked to me. She said, you're too advanced for this class. So they wanted me to take this test. And they called my mom, like, we think we should skip her. She's too advanced. My mom's like, no, leave her there. And I kind of got mad. Because
Okay.
it's like I'm sitting here, going to school. And then, my grandfather telling me, oh, you got to get A's. At the time, I didn't know he was saying it as a joke.
Right.
But, you tell a kid that, you think like, okay, like I always been a nerd when it comes to books. I'm
Even
still
to this
like
day,
that.
you never forgot that your grandpa said that to you.
Exactly. So it's like me, I'm always reading. So it's like when I got home, I always did my homework. No matter what, even when my mom, she started doing her, I still kept an A average in school. And I'm still making an honorable. I'm having an award ceremony, she not coming. And even in 4th grade, they said to my mom, she's too advanced. Let's skip her to another program. All right, let's put her in a CHIPS program. She like, no. I'm like, why not? Like, this is opportunities for me. If that was my child, he's too advanced. Like, oh, come on, let's sign the papers,
And what was the CHIPS program?
The CHIPS program was for academically talented kids, like very smart and intelligent.
Okay. And they wanted to put you in that, and your mom said no.
Yeah, she had to sign a slip.
Okay, and she
said
did.
no. Yeah.
So you kind of resented her for that.
Yeah.
Like, even, like, all these things you just mentioned
I'm
moving
like,
forward.
damn, like, I'm trying, you have a kid that's excelling, why not let them get skipped? Why not let them, that's good opportunity for them. But she was like, no. But it was like my brothers, they would act up, get C's and D's and F's, and it's like she would pay more attention to them. I get I knew you a McDonald roll.
Right.
Like, well, damn. So
Right.
like around 6th grade, I started acting up.
Got it. With that being said, you know your parents and the way that they raised you or didn't raise you because you were there. Now that you are a parent, by the way, how many kids do you have?
I had 3.
You have 3. What are their age ranges?
Well, 2 passed, 2 and a half.
Oh, sorry to hear that. Condolences.
But, thank you. Kenny, he would have been 24.
Okay.
Jihad would have been 19.
Okay.
And Makai, he's 8 now.
Okay, Makai's 8. What are some similarities and differences between your parents' parenting styles and yours?
With me, I would say all my kids is very respectful.
Okay.
And I grew up to be very respectful. No sir, yes sir, miss. I'm still like that to this day. Somebody is older than me, they're miss. I just don't call them by their name. Even as a coworker, I have coworkers, stop calling me that girl, me and you hang out. Miss. It's like I just, I grew up like that, and my kids are like that. My oldest son, I would say he was very respectful. He was the type, he'll see a lady, groceries, he's going to help her. Mom, can I go help her? Like, go ahead. Like, he was very respectful. He always, held the door open for me, pulled my chair out. But his stepdad's off neck, so he was a gentleman. Kai, he's very respectful. No, mommy, yes, mommy. Like, he's very respectful when he talks. He's
Okay.
autistic, but when he do talk, he's very respectful.
Got it.
So I think I taught them that. I think also I'm a little stern. And I think it's because I was around my grandparents a lot. So it's like, no, you can't do this. Yes, you can. But sometimes I put myself like, all right. Like before, I wouldn't let my son go to the mall with his friends. But why? I don't know who you're going with. I don't know them. But as I start to get to know his friends, all right, you can go.
Right.
And because, you don't, it's like you put yourself in your kid, you don't want to be the only one that can't do nothing. Because then they start sneaking off.
Right. Right.
So,
Okay. And what are some differences? Like, was there anything you said, I'm not going to do this with my kids?
well, one thing was the food. I always said I would not let my kids eat something they don't want to.
Okay.
Liver. My mom, you're going to eat that liver. I did not eat that liver. Still don't. Like, I just feel as though you can't make me eat something. My mom, she used to make boiled gizzards. Me and my brothers would cry and say, we don't want to eat the monkey brains. So I always said, like, my kids, if they don't want something, if you taste it and you say, I don't like it, I'm not going to sit there and force you to eat it. I think to me, that's like kind of abuse.
Okay.
You got to eat it. No, you don't. You don't like it, you don't have to eat it.
Got it. So that's a big difference, right? Like, you had to probably sit at the table until you ate something.
Yeah, I'd sit at the table at 12, 1 o'clock and still wouldn't eat it. So it was like, what's the point?
Right. So you mentioned your schools. I bet you don't remember all the schools you went to growing up.
Yes, I do.
Kindergarten, go.
Kramer.
Okay, Kramer is where? Where's Kramer?
Kramer's in East Camden.
Okay, which is not far from your
but
house.
I forgot. I went to Whittier for like 3 months.
This is a kindergarten?
No, I went to Whittier. I was in 2nd grade.
All right, so kindergarten was Kramer.
I went to Kramer. Went to Whittier for like 2 months, and I went back to Kramer
So Whittier was 2nd grade, you said?
for 2nd grade for like 2 months.
So you were at Kramer, and then Kramer from K through 2, and then you went to Whittier.
and
Where is
then I
Whittier?
Whittier is downtown.
Oh, it's downtown. So you were staying with your grandmom or your
No,
dad?
my dad.
Okay, got
And
it.
you're going to keep these kids. I went to Whittier for 2 months, and me and my brothers know we want to go back to Kramer. So we went back to Kramer out East Camden, and
Okay.
then from Kramer went to McGraw. And from
So
McGraw-
how long you went back to Kramer in 2nd grade?
Yes,
From 2nd through what?
to 4th, and then after 4th grade, Kramer didn't have a 5th, so we went to McGraw
For 5th.
for 5th grade, and
So
then
let's stop for a second. What school did you like better out of all three? So you didn't like Whittier, that's the lowest ranked one.
yeah, no,
So out of Kramer and McGraw, which one did you like better? Or where did you have the better experience?
I would say Kramer.
Okay, why do you,
I
like,
don't
what
know,
did you
I
like
think
better
'cause,
about it?
I don't know. I don't know. I just liked Kramer. I don't know. When I got to McGraw, I started fighting.
Really?
Yeah.
And probably because, now where is McGraw?
McGraw is right next to Kramer. No, McGraw is probably 3 minutes from Kramer.
Okay, so it's still in East Camden,
Mm-hmm.
but it's a different set of kids.
Yes, different set of kids. Kramer is literally, this is Kramer, and then you walk down the street like 2 blocks, and then it's McGraw.
Okay,
McGraw
okay.
Middle Elementary.
So the kids that went to McGraw are also from East
East
Camden, but a
Camden.
different side of East Camden?
Yes.
Okay. So, like, for example, someone was mentioning like you said, RSP.
Yeah.
I would assume that the kids from Raritan Street Posse went to Kramer.
Yeah.
And was there any other, like, posses that went to Kramer?
Yeah, Fruit Posse.
The Fruit Posse. Did you have it, like, being that, so what block was Fruit Posse from mainly?
They was from Moore Street.
So Moore Street, how far is that from Raritan Street?
Probably walking 2 minutes.
Okay.
It's like it's Morris, Rand, Pfeiffer, Raritan Street.
So 3 blocks.
Mm-hmm.
So 3 blocks away, you got this other team. Did you ever have problems with them?
Not really.
Not you personally. Okay. But so Raritan and Moore Street basically went to Kramer. They didn't go to McGraw.
No.
All right. So who was at McGraw, by the way?
McGraw was mostly like 2-9.
29, 29th Street. That
Yeah.
exactly that side
2-9,
of.
32nd Street, unknown.
Okay. Did you have any problems with them?
No.
So who were the girls you were beating up?
It was like girls just used to mess with me, when your mom getting high, she's not really taking care of your kids. So, girls would say something to me, I will pop off.
Okay.
Say something, pop.
They didn't know what you were going. Kids don't know
Kids
what
don't.
everybody's going through
Kids
behind
don't.
closed doors.
And then it's like, I think sometimes people used to say stuff because I'm quiet. I am quiet. And then I would pop off. Somebody say something to me, pop.
Okay.
I was talking about that yesterday. Like, me and one of my friends, I was just with her the night before, and we was arguing in school. I don't know. I can't even forget what we was arguing about. And I just grabbed her and started going off on her.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But then we
Interesting.
made up. Because that was my friend. I'm like, why did I do that? I really had to go to anger management. But I'm like, why did I do that? And it's like, I just used to go off.
Okay.
But I feel like now I'm older and been in counseling again for my son's passing, but I feel like it was just inside anger. Like, I just had anger issues. And,
Okay.
you know, when you're a kid, you really don't know how to express anger or express how you feel. And you just, that's why I think sometimes kids have temper tantrums. They going off. You don't really know how to express how you feel as a child.
Okay. So you graduate from McGraw and you move on to middle school. Where'd you go?
East Camden Middle.
East Camden Middle, which we don't have to ask where that is.
That's right next to McGraw.
Right next to McGraw. So you're going to East Camden. Did you finish at East Camden Middle? Mm-hmm. So you did all 3 years.
Yes.
So your middle school was pretty stable.
Yeah.
How would you describe your middle school experience?
I was fighting a lot. I hit lots.
Okay.
It's like I don't know, I was fighting a lot. I stopped excelling in school. I would pass my tests, but I wasn't doing that much work. Like, I'm in the AT class in 6th grade, but I'm starting to skip school, and, you know, it's me and guy friends like Mish and Mark and my best friend, and, like, we just was skipping school and just doing stuff, and I would get in fights, and we were just talking about yesterday how it was a big fallout out East Camden with the Cambodians and the blacks, you know?
Right.
And it's like, after school, we seen one, we just fighting.
Okay.
So,
When you did skip school in middle school, where'd you go?
going to my friend's house, not doing nothing, watching TV.
Somebody's mom who's not home or at work.
Yeah. But one time I did, one time my best friend, she was sick. And I was like, I'm gonna come over tomorrow. So me and her cousin and her brother was in the basement. Her mom left late for work that day.
Right. Ooh.
So her mom,
I already know where this is going.
she in the kitchen with her mom. And my cousin Livy, she steady moving. We sitting there like, stop moving. And she steady making her noise. And her mom was like, I hear somebody in the basement. So, you know, we like still. And I'm sitting there like, stop moving. And my best friend like, there's nobody down there, Mom. What are you talking about? She's
Right.
like, I hear somebody in the basement. She steady moving again. I'm like, her mom was like, you could stay here if you want to. And her mom running out the house. I can hear her mom running. I'm like, oh my God. She was like, Mom, like, you know, she had to tell us we was there. She was like, y'all gotta get out. Y'all gotta go to school.
Oh, so she never came down in the basement and called y'all?
No,
She was just
said,
afraid.
y'all come up here and y'all gotta go to school.
Y'all got caught.
Yeah, because of my dumb cousin moving around.
But with all that being said, you never got left back and you finished 8th grade on time?
Yes.
Okay, so you
I had
graduated.
to go to summer school though.
You
but
did
I
have to go to summer school. Okay. What, in 8th grade?
Yes.
Okay, so you went to summer school, you passed, and you go
Went to the high.
to what high school?
Camden High.
Camden High. Now, where is Camden High?
Camden High is out Parkside. Well,
So-
it was out Parkside.
If Camden High is in Parkside and you live in East Camden, how do you go? Do East Camden kids go to Camden High?
Well, when I was in 8th grade, I had ran away.
Okay.
Me and my girlfriend ran away. And my friend that I mentioned earlier that got shot in her back, me and her ran away. And
Okay.
we got, the guys from Morris, they went and told my mom where we was at. And, you know, we came and I went and stayed with my grandparents.
The guys from Moore Street ratted on you?
Morris and ran, and I moved downtown.
So let's talk about that so you use the downtown address. Kids from downtown go to Camden High.
Yes.
Got it. So, but let's backtrack a little bit. You ran away in 8th grade.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember why?
I just got tired of always having my brothers and sisters. I was mistreated. I just got tired. And my friend, you know, she had issues on her own. And we ran away.
Okay.
And it's like,
You were tired of having to be an adult when you were a child.
yes.
Okay, got it.
So it's like, after that,
So you ran away, but you went to your dad's house.
no. We
No.
was just staying at different houses and stuff.
Oh, really?
You know, people was spurring rumors saying we was having sex with food. No, I wasn't even having sex yet. But anyway, we just was staying at different people's house. And then we was at, I want to say one of my friend's blue house. He was like, y'all come over there and, you know, chill, relax, go take a shower. So they went and got our parents. They went and told them where we was at. And that's how we got called.
Oh, okay. So who showed up? Like your dad and your
My
mom? Oh, your
She
mom.
showed up. And went in the back of the room. I'm in the kitchen like, why would you think I'd be in the room?
Right. Because that was the rumor and she probably believed it.
Whatever. But I'm like, why would I be in the room? But I was sitting in the kitchen.
Okay.
And then I said, that she was like, you going with your grandparents? Okay.
Right. Okay. So you were saying with your grandparents downtown. Excuse me. So you go to Camden High. Were you there for all 4 years?
Yes.
Okay. How would you describe your high school experience?
I first moved downtown. I hated it.
Okay.
I was
Right,
getting
because you're
in
from East
fights.
Camden.
Yeah, and I would start getting in fights with some people, Karstoffens. I remember I was fighting this girl because she tried to take my hat. I had this visor with I don't know if you remember back in the day we used to wear visors and it had like rhinestones or something on it.
Right,
and
right.
she tried to take it and I just flipped out on her and I beat her up and they was trying to jolt me and I'm just sitting there swinging on people.
And the
I was by
Karstoffens
myself.
is a big family
Yeah,
in Camden,
and then
right?
after that, I don't know. After that, I just got cool with them.
Okay.
That was weird to me. Yeah,
That happened a lot, right? That happened a
Yeah,
lot
it's
in
like-
Camden in general. You fighting somebody and then you
then
wind
it's
up
like
being
months
best
later,
friends.
We was all cool, and I'm like, this is weird.
right. So, but yeah, so let's talk about it. So at first you hated it, but let's, as far as your overall high school experience, like being at Camden High, how would you describe it?
Well, when I first went to the high, I still didn't want to go there. I had friends downtown because I used to go to my grandparents' house on the weekends when I was
If
younger.
you didn't go to Camden High, where would you have went?
Sicklerville, Hokie.
Okay, so that's the vocational school.
Yeah, and I'm like, I'm not going there.
What did you want to major in?
At the time, I still wanted to do law. I still wanted to be a lawyer.
Okay.
But I'm like, they don't have any law classes there. So I said, maybe I'll just do hair.
Oh, okay,
But
okay.
Mom,
And the
but-
cosmetology.
Yeah,
Got
so
it,
my
got
mom
it.
was like, But then I was like, Mom was like, well, I'm going to just send you to Camden High. I'm like, I don't want to go there. Because
Right.
they had me at Wilson. I'm like, I don't want to go.
Wilson is the East Camden High
East
School.
Camden, yeah.
Okay.
And I wanted to go to Wilson, where all my
Okay.
friends are, you know.
Right.
I have friends downtown, but I wanted to go with my friends. And when I went to Camden High, my mom said, well, after this marking period, if you don't like it, I'll transfer you to Wilson.
Okay.
I said, okay. So after the end of the first market period, my mom said, are you ready to go to Wilson? I was like, no. I'm good.
So what happened? What happened in that 3 months?
I don't know, I was hanging out with my friends from downtown more, and I just started having fun. My cousins going to, go to the same school. I'm meeting new people. I just started having fun.
So you just basically adapted. Were you still in touch with your friends from East Camden?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So now you're like this more well-rounded kid. Now you got, instead of just having friends in East Camden, now you got friends in East Camden, downtown, and whatever the neighborhoods the Camden High kids are.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. So then it was on after that, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, I had too much fun in Camden High.
Okay. Any specific examples?
I used to cut too, but Camden High, it's like things I remember. I remember us having a walkout
Okay.
at the high. I don't know, I liked Camden High because I was meeting new people.
Okay.
They were different.
Okay.
Camden High was kind of a fashion show when we was in high school. So
Right.
it was just different from Wilson. It was
Okay.
different from East Camden. And,
Got
I
it.
started meeting different people, more people. And I liked sitting out on the ledge. I liked going to lunch, going to the Panzerotti truck in the Panzerotti. I liked walking the Hatton Avenue, getting food. Like, it was just different.
Right.
I loved going to school. I used to have fun actually going to school.
Now, did you work in high school?
I worked when I was 16.
Okay.
At,
You remember your first ever job?
McDonald's.
You worked the classic
Cherry
first
Hill
job.
Mall, yeah.
McDonald's at the Cherry Hill Mall in New Jersey. Okay.
Yeah.
How was that?
I loved it.
Okay.
loved
Okay.
it.
How long were you there?
I was there for 3 months until I was sick.
Oh, you got sick from eating McDonald's food?
No.
Oh.
I was sick at the time, and I was pregnant.
Oh,
And I
okay.
was like, I kept throwing up, and I'm like, what is wrong with me? I'm thinking like, do I got some kind of virus? And I went to the thing because like I was still like in a marching band, and I wanted to start running again because I was running in East Camden Middle. And like I was working out in high school.
I was about to say, we just skipped over a lot of things.
Yeah, like I was working out, and my period wasn't never stable because of me working out. And she
Okay.
said athletes usually don't always get their menstrual.
Right.
So I didn't even pay it no mind. And then I went to the doctors, and they like, oh, you pregnant? I'm like, oh, shit.
Oh, wow. So let's talk about, well, before we talk about the pregnancy, you were in a marching band, really? So you were even participating in extracurricular activities in high school. Okay. So was marching band the only thing?
Yeah, and then I was going to do track. I don't know why I didn't. I think I met my son's father then.
Okay.
So I didn't want to do
How was the marching band? What did you do?
Fun. I was a Pantherette.
Really? Okay, so it was the Camden High Panthers, and you were a Pantherette
Yes.
doing your little steps, and you loved that.
Yes.
All the football games. Did you guys? It was just football games, right?
Yeah, just football games.
Okay. And you
then
did that.
I wanted to cheer for basketball, but I don't know why I never tried out for it. Because I was a cheerleader in 8th grade for PYA.
Okay. So you meet this guy. Is he your age or is he older?
He's a year older than me.
He's a year older. He went to Camden High?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm looking at your face. You're like, if you look back today, you probably would not have got pregnant.
You're absolutely right.
All right. So how was that whole experience getting pregnant at 16?
Scared.
Okay.
Like I would tell my grandparents I was going to my friend's house. They lived around the corner, but I'm at his house.
Okay.
Then we started having sex, and then I got pregnant. That experience, I was scared as hell.
Was he there for you? Like, what happened when you first told him?
He was actually happy. No, he said, "Is it mine?"
Okay.
Because I did break up with him.
Okay.
Seeing somebody else, but I was.
Now I got a question for you. Random question. Were you offended by that, or was it a legit question for him to ask?
I'm a 16. Like, how you ask somebody that? Oh, because you broke up with me. Yeah, I did, but. You know how you kids and you like somebody else, so you start going with them. I'm like, but I wasn't having sex with the guy. So he asked me that. Of course, I'm like, yeah.
Right.
So then my mom and them, because I was getting sick at work, and so the manager was like, well, when you find out what's wrong with you, come back to work.
Okay.
So I told my mom. I said, well, what's wrong with you? I told her I was pregnant. She was like, oh, you getting an abortion. I was like, all right. Like, I'm 16, I ain't ready for no kid.
Right.
So then I go to the doctors. I remember going to Englewood, New Jersey. That's up north.
That's way up North Jersey, right?
Yeah, and to get an abortion. And I remember the lady was like, well, we're going to have to put medicine in you. You're going to have to sit for 2 hours while you kill the fetus. I said, I'm not doing that. 2 hours?
Right.
No. She's like,
Oh,
well,
you thought it was going to be like an instant thing?
Yeah, she said I was 4 months pregnant.
Ooh.
And she was like, no, she said you 12 weeks. What is that?
Okay.
Like 3-4 months. And I was like, no, I'm not doing that. And I remember the lady started hollering, well, how you gonna take care of a kid? I remember her hollering.
The lady started yelling at you?
She's yelling at me, and my mom ran in there. It was my mom and grandma. My mom ran in there like, don't talk to my effing daughter like that.
Right.
Like, she's like, what's wrong with you? She's like, she's a teen. She can't take care of no kid. And I remember, I'm like getting sick. I was going to high school. I was kind of embarrassed, but wasn't. Because I had friends, they was on their thing. Like, we always talked about going to college. And I always remember I invited a lot of people from school to my baby shower. They didn't come. But now I'm older. I'm like, I wouldn't have came. I wouldn't let my child go to somebody that's 16-year-old baby shower. 16, I had turned 17. But me having my son young, he helped me grow up and mature.
How so?
He just, first of all, it's like love. It's like boys and mom. Boys love their mom unconditionally. That's how I feel. I had 3 boys, and he was like protective as hell, for one. But he just loved me unconditionally.
Okay. Interesting. So so you have a baby. Do you graduate?
Yes.
Wow. So you are one of the success stories, because I guess it's a coin flip with girls who get pregnant. They don't have a babysitter, and they wind up having to drop out, and some just drop out. Period.
My grandma, she started getting. She was watching them, and then my grandfather, we found out he had cancer.
Okay.
So it was like hard for them, but they still did it. While I went to school, and then being a star, 12. When you're 11 to 12, you don't have that many classes. They try to send you to co-op.
Right.
But I would just go home.
Okay.
But my grandfather, he had prostate cancer.
Okay.
And he just started feeling like quick, just like that. And then he
Okay.
wound up passing in June.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Thank you.
So your grandfather passed away the same month of graduation?
No, this was 97.
Okay. You graduated in 98. Okay. Got it. So now you got to deal with that. You got a newborn baby, your grandfather who, like, you love dearly and has taken care of you your whole life. The reason why you, like, created your drive to want to be a lawyer, now he's gone. Now you got to finish school. So did you kind of, like, finish for him? Did you finish for you? Did you finish for your child?
I finished for me, and I just finished to finish. And then, Camden High, they start having a daycare center, so that helped me too.
Oh, okay.
But I just finished, and after school, I wanted to go to college, but I didn't. And I always think like my grandfather probably would have been pissed.
Why didn't you go?
I just didn't. I started having fun. I'm going out, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and then, I start working. So it's like, still wanted to be a lawyer, but then, I don't know, I just was out having fun.
So just wish that you had somebody to push you, like, nah, you going to school.
Exactly.
Right, got it. That support system matters, agreed.
It does, and people don't believe that. It does.
Okay, got it. So with all of that being said, let me ask you this question. On a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being the worst ever and 10 being the best possible, how would you personally rate your childhood?
Like a
5, okay.
3, 4, 5.
What circumstances would have had to have happened for you to say like 6 or 7?
I think if my mom never started getting high, if I didn't feel like an adult at a young age,
Okay.
like me ironing clothes, cooking and cleaning, that's a lot for a kid.
Right.
I think if I had my mom at least to push me, like me, my oldest son, he was very high school, he was an athlete, on the roll. I stayed on his butt.
Okay.
And I wish my mom would have been like that with me. Like, oh, I'm going to congratulate you, but you're not going to fall off because you're doing this.
Right.
Because he did that. He got a little cocky, and I used to have to put him back in his place. But I just wish my mom would have. I'm glad you got the honor roll. Good job. Keep doing. We all need that, especially as a child. Like, you want your moms to congratulate you. My grandfather did. Yeah, my grandfather did. My grandparents did. But it was different because it wasn't my mom.
Got it. Now, a lot of times, I don't want to say a lot of times, sometimes when parents are doing something like getting into drugs, they shield it from their kids. Mm-hmm. Did you physically see your mom?
One time, I think I was 11 or 12.
Okay.
Me and my brothers, my mom didn't want us to come in the house, and me and one of my brothers were sitting on the steps. And the screen doors, it had a little crack in it.
Okay.
So we what is she done? That's the first time I seen my mom getting high. I knew she was getting high from the people that she was dealing with, but that's my first time.
Okay. So you did see it. You and your brother saw it, so you guys officially knew.
Yeah.
Right. How do you feel like, you might have already answered this question, but how do you feel like that, looking back now as an adult, just seeing that affected you?
Do I feel like it did affect me?
How do you feel like it affected you?
It affected me because I don't know. I couldn't understand a lot of things. I had a lot of resentment against my mom. I kind of hated her. I loved her, but I also had hate in my heart for her.
Okay.
And I'm like, why did you get on drugs? I know things weren't going good with you and my dad, but you don't turn to drugs for that. But I guess that's the way she could have dealt with it.
Got it. Do you have a worst childhood day or time period that you would like to forever forget?
Yeah. There was one time my mom woke me up and she asked me to clean these cabinets. It's like 11 o'clock at night. I'm running around all day, playing. I'm tired. And I don't know, every time I walked past her, she kept smacking me. And that's when I started building up all this hate. And she just made me clean all these dishes, then put them on the table, dry them, and put them in the cabinet one by one. I remember that day.
Okay.
I felt like all this hatred.
Got it. Let's flip it. Do you have a favorite childhood day that, if you could, you would go back to?
I remember me and my family going to the movies and going to see Malcolm X, I'm sorry. It was Malcolm X, or was it, I think it was Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice.
Yeah, Beetlejuice.
Okay. So why was that significant for you?
Because it was like a family event, and I think that was the last time all our family was together.
Okay. Oh, so it was you, your mom, your dad.
And my little sister was born. She was a baby.
Okay.
And my twin brothers.
You guys all went to go see Beetlejuice movie. That was the last time you guys were all together. If you could go
As
back
a
to
family.
that.
Yeah, you feel good to be with. It wasn't no arguing. It wasn't no fighting.
Right.
was
Which
like
is
a
an
peace with
overall
that.
great day.
Yes.
Got you. Were there any events that occurred in your childhood, anything that happened that you feel like affected your life forever, besides what you already mentioned, like either negatively or positively?
Yeah. I mean, I had a lot of anger issues. And like I said, I had to go to counseling and stuff. Trust. It's hard for me to trust people.
Okay.
I don't like to be around certain people. I don't know. People just think I'm quiet. I have people that literally don't like me because I'm quiet. If I don't know you, I'm not gonna. I'm now that I'm older and I'm a nurse, I have to go and talk to people. But growing up, I've always been quiet. And if I didn't feel people energy, like if it didn't feel good to me, I'll speak. But I'm not gonna sit and have a conversation with you. And I don't know, it's just like, sometimes I feel funny around people, I feel weird, and overall, I'm just a quiet person. But I think that kind of affects me, like, just things I've been through.
Okay.
And then if I see somebody, like, getting high,
Right.
it makes me feel a certain type of way, because I know how it changed my mom.
Right. You start having repressed feelings
Yeah.
because like all the stuff that you kind of packed away.
Because you have this loving, sweet mom, and now she's getting high. She's like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, like a whole different person.
Right.
So it's like you have to get to know another person. And, that's not the person that raised you and loved you. And,
You also mentioned something to me that happened in 2003.
Yeah, my youngest at the time, Jihad, he passed away.
Sorry to hear that. You care to go back into that?
Yeah, I remember that day.
What happened?
That day I remember.
First of all, how old was he?
He was 1.
He was 1. So
Yes.
you had a 1-year-old son in 03. Okay.
No, yes, he was 1 and Kenny was 6.
Okay.
And I remember that day I called out of work because I was sick.
Okay.
And
Pregnant
then
again?
No, I just was sick. I had
I'm messing with you.
No, I had like a cold or something.
Okay.
So I was feeling bad, and I was like, you know what? I'm on vacation. Like, this is my last day. I'm going to work.
Mm-hmm.
So I called my supervisor. I was like, I'm gonna come in. She was like, no, you're not. You sound like crap. You need to stay home. I was like, no, I'm on vacation. She was like, you know what? Whatever. She said, I'm gonna let you come in. She said, but if I see you dragging, I'm sending you home. So I said, okay. So after that, I'm gonna say like around 11 o'clock, I started getting all these weird phone calls from different phone numbers. And I went to lunch, and I was telling this guy, I said, it used to be a group of us sit and eat lunch together. And I was telling one of the guys, I said, yo, this weird number keep calling me. He was like, answer the phone.
Right.
So I'm like, I don't know. So I answered, and that's when they asked to speak to me. Of course, can I speak to DaBriah? I'm like, DaBriah.
They called you DaBriah?
Yeah. I said, who's calling? She said, this is Our Lady of Lords of Burlington. I'm like, I was living in Willingboro, New Jersey at the time.
Okay. How far is that from Camden?
30 minutes.
Okay.
So she asked to speak to me, and I'm like, she said, this is Our Lady of Lords of Burlington. Something like that. And I'm like, okay. And she was like, we need you to come to the hospital. I said, for what? She said, your son been in an accident. I'm like, my son been in an accident? Which one? She said, the baby. I said, well, what accident he was in that his brother wasn't in? It was Easter vacation. I'm like, they're together.
Right.
She was like, oh, I just need you to come up here. And she hung up on me.
Really?
And I'm looking at my phone. So, the people I'm eating with, they're like, what's going on? I'm like, I don't know, the lady. I told them the conversation. And I'm like, literally just start shaking.
Okay.
So one of the guys, like, he ran. I didn't know, but he was dealing like something wrong with. They call me Day now. And they like something wrong with Day. Son, I'm gonna take her to the hospital. And she like, you gotta come right back. He said, I'm coming back. He said, but she need to go to the hospital. She can't drive. So I'm still like shaking, and then I called my mom. I remember calling my mom. I was trying to call my house. I was trying to call the guy I was with at the time. Back in the day, you know, cell phones, you can press 1. And I could not think. I wound up calling our house, and I listened to the answer machine, and I heard the lady screaming and hollering, saying my son, he fell. And he
The lady from the hospital?
No, the lady from the daycare.
Oh, okay, so they were in daycare.
She was calling. She had a in-house daycare. She was calling like something happened to Jihad. He fell off the potty. He just not waking up. But she said he was sitting there clapping, and he just like felt like that.
Okay.
And I'm like, what? And then she's like, I picked him up. He's pooping. When she said that, me at the time I was a CNA, and when she said that, I said, my son passed. I felt it because I know when a person expired, they pass their last bowels.
Really?
They pass everything in the body, yes. So I'm shaking, I'm crying. They never said nothing to my mom. My mom called me back and was like, I'll be up there. So then the hospital called me back. They said, it's a guy, you know, they described, he's coming to pick you up. And a guy came and picked me up because my coworker was like, you sure? Like, I'll take you to the hospital. You going to be okay with him? He was like, you know, like, please let us know what's going on. Take me to the hospital, and I'm asking the guy what's going on. He said, I don't know. He said, they just told me to come pick you up. So I see my father-in-law sitting there waiting for me. He was outside. And I looked at him, and he just had this look on his face. I pushed him out my way. And I love him to death, still to this day. I pushed him out the way, and then I seen my son Dad. He just sitting there, eyes bloodshot red. And he said, my baby going. I'm like, what? It's like Jihad going, and he's crying. And then his grandma's crying. And then I'm like, what is going on? And that's when they told me, they was like, your son passed away. And I'm like, where's my other son? Like, you know, like I got all these questions, like how he passed away. Like he was just fine. He was crying that morning because I went to work. And then I was like, we're going to go get some ice cream later. He said, okay. Because he was like, no, like he was crying that day. And I always think, what if I would have stayed home and he passed away? You know? So I always think that was God that told me to go to work. Because people know me, once I'm sick, I'm staying home. I'm not working nowhere.
So wait, what happened?
Well, a year later, first of all, afterwards, they had me on DIFUS. This man, one time I was sitting in the kitchen.
What's DIFUS?
DIFUS is, you know, protective service for kids.
Okay, like CPS or,
Yeah.
okay.
So
Afterwards,
Yeah,
when this
this is
happened,
afterwards.
the caseworkers came.
Yeah.
The hospital has to report it.
yes.
Right, okay, got it.
So I remember in the kitchen, I was washing dishes and
This is a year later,
No, this is like 3 weeks later.
3 weeks later, okay.
So I'm still mourning. I'm still not going to work.
The funeral has happened.
The funeral happened. My son Dad, he was going to work because he worked. He was CPA during the day, and then night he had a part-time job.
Okay.
So he was going to work. I finished cooking dinner, but I'm sitting in the kitchen, and our block, we know everybody on the block, and
Right.
I'm sitting there looking at this car, and I'm like, who is that car? The guy that lived across the street from us, I know he had a fiance, and I know he traveled. So I'm like, his job, you know, required him to travel. So I'm sitting there like, that's not him or her. I'm like, you know, sitting there looking. And then my son Dad, and I'm telling him, I'm like, who that car? He was like, oh, I don't know. He said, maybe somebody looking at the houses. I'm like, all these houses is filled. But he was like, oh, I don't know. So after that, the guy comes and knocks on my door when my son Dad leaves.
Okay.
I see him coming towards the house. I'm like, what the hell going on? I call him like, yo, this dude coming up to the door. He's sitting here. You know, he was a caseworker. He's like, are you such and such? You DaBriah? We need to know what happened to your son. Do you have, like, he was attacking me. My son Dad on the phone, I'm going off. He come back, cursed the guy out, and the guy had to leave.
Okay.
But they sent another caseworker, and they found out, like a year and a half later, said it was a form of cardiomyopathy, which is a hardening around your heart.
Now say that again. Cardiomyopathy.
Cardiomyopathy.
And what is it?
It's like a hardening around your heart. It's like when your heart start getting hard.
Okay.
They said he had it. I don't believe that. Because over the time I would call, like, do y'all have any results, like how he passed? He was a healthy kid. He was a chunky kid. Like,
So the hospital, first of all, when it happened, the hospital couldn't tell you guys what happened.
They say he was literally sitting on a potty clapping and he just told it over.
Okay.
And they say his heart stopped.
So, do they have to ask the parents' permission to do an autopsy?
They
Or-
didn't ask me no permission. I think they are now.
Okay.
But they just, oh, his brain's in Arizona. Oh, his thing is getting examined here. I'm like, what the hell? Yeah,
Wow. That is a lot to go through.
yeah.
And
And then I have a 6-year-old that don't understand what happened.
right.
Because I remember we was going to view my son's body. And then he said, Kenny said, Mommy, are you getting Jihad? Can we play baseball when you come back? And I just start crying. He thought he was in the hospital. Yeah, so.
Yeah. I can imagine how that has affected you. The aftermath of that. What did that do to you?
I don't know. We wound up breaking up like a year later.
Okay. So that was the beginning of the end of your relationship
Yeah.
with him. That's
Yeah,
A.
we got back together, but it wasn't the same.
Right.
I prayed on it, and God was showing me proof. I'm like, deuces. But it was hard. It was hard to get over, and you start being a little overprotective over your kid you have. I didn't understand. I questioned myself, like, well, what did I do? What can I have done? And I'm like, I try to do the best by my kids while I lose my child, So it was hard.
With that being said, what is the overall perception? Like, who is the person, all these experiences that you just told us, who is the person that you became? Like, who is the DaBriah of today? Like, would you feel that all these things that happened, like, molded you into the person you are today? Who are you? What do you do? And how did all these things drive you?
I'm sorry, I feel like my lips dry. Now I'm strong. I became stronger minded. I'm very focused. I went back to school. And
You went back to school for what?
a nurse. And this is after my oldest son passed away. I went back to school.
Okay.
But now I just think I'm stronger minded. I'm still very loving. I'm still very giving. But I'm just stronger minded. I'm aware of things. I don't take people for granted. I appreciate people more.
Okay.
I appreciate my loved ones more. And definitely appreciate my child.
Got it. So, with all these things that you said and everything that you know today, I want you to give some advice to blank-year-old DaBriah. If you could talk to a younger version of yourself, what age would she be and what would you say to her?
14.
14-year-old DaBriah. Okay? Go. What would you say to
I
her?
would tell her, don't look at that nappy head little boy. It's like, nah. I would tell her, like, stay focused on your dreams. Don't let nobody discourage you. It's going to be people out there that tell you can't do it. Ignore them and just keep going and be the best you can be. You're going to go through ups and downs, but just stay strong and keep going.
Thank you so much for coming. We appreciate you.
You're welcome.